Newsflash, the old ways of selling, the 1980s ABC always be closing, that style, they're over. It's dead. It's time to adapt. The buyers in 2021 have evolved. So must your selling style, or you will be left behind. Let's get right into this short, sharp, but crucial. So, 20 to 30 years ago, when I started in the sales world, the only way to train anybody, and the only training you ever got, was the old ABC, always be close type of training. That's all there was. And things have moved on dramatically now. These are different customers. 2021's customer is intelligent, is well informed. They've watched The Wolf of Wall Street. Who hasn't? It's a great movie. We've all watched it. But those type of artificial pressure-induced tactics to strong arm someone into placing an order with you, they're over. Today's buyer is expecting something completely different now. What they're expecting is a much more consultative, empathetic, and gentle, logical conclusion to a sale. Customers want to be led. They do not want to be pushed. Absolutely categorically. You might be wondering how I know this. Well, I've spent 25 years training salespeople to become elite salespeople, high achievers, superstars, and I've been there myself. And in that time, I've probably learned more from the people who didn't buy, the customers who had a presentation and didn't buy, than I ever did from the ones that did buy. So at the bottom of this YouTube video, you will notice there's a couple of links. The first one is a downloadable ebook, which is the results and the answers from when me and my team called 28,000 customers who had a presentation and didn't buy. The results surprised us, and I think they will you. You're probably thinking, if you ask a customer one simple question, and that question is, why didn't you place an order with us? You'd get the usual responses. That's what you're probably thinking. Oh, the price, didn't like the company, didn't like the product or the service. Well, let me tell you, have a look at that ebook because it's startling. And these are genuine answers. The top 5 are ranked in order. And it'll surprise you because neither of those 3 were in the top 5. That's right. Unbelievable as that may seem. What did it tell us? What did it indicate? Well, it's funny because everything was pointing in the same direction. All of the top 5 answers, top 6 answers, were all timescale objections. Why didn't you place an order, Mr. and Mrs. Jones? Well, I just asked you. Well, we just wanted to think about it. We just wanted a bit of time. Every one was an objection, not a condition that would have stopped an order happening. Interesting. Well, when you dig in a bit deeper, it gets even more interesting. That's why download the ebook, have a look for yourselves. But it's fascinating because you suddenly realize that every single one of these reasons that were given by these customers for not progressing their order and placing an order could have been completely a different scenario if a different sales process had happened. Now, what does that mean, a different sales process? Well, if you're still trying to sell today in 2021 with the old dogma, always be closing, which basically means every opportunity try and close a customer. In other words, force a customer into a corner where they feel pressure, i.e. with maybe a discount that's about to end or some other contrived BS type close, then you are today going to find it harder and harder. My advice to you, friend, if that's you, is you need to look at different styles. The best style I've seen, and which we evolved over the last 12 years probably, of looking at those results and then evolving our sales presentation is what's called the empathy-based consultative sales process. What does it look like? Well, I'll give you a clue. You sat with a customer and rather than doing that, which is the biggest fault in any salespeople, I know because that used to be me, we've all been down that road, you ask relevant questions. You consider the answers. You ask a follow-up question. And what you're doing is you're taking your customer on a journey with you, which will lead to them making a logical conclusion. So when a customer gets to the end of a presentation, when it's handled like that, and the style is like that, they all of a sudden find themselves at a point where they're going to say yes or no, and neither of them is a problem. There's no pressure. There's none of this going on. It's a beautiful, beautiful way of selling, and it works. It really, really works. For any more information on that style of selling, there's a second link down below, which is a link to our live webinars. You're welcome to join us, have a look at that. We answer questions, we go into a lot more detail with slides, that sort of thing, on exactly how this works. But just to give you a little bit more of an insight into it, I call it the new highway to sell, because this is a fast-track way of getting your customer in a very, very consultative way to the end of a presentation where they're going to give you a decision. Now, it won't always be, yes, I'd like to do it, but even if it isn't, you walk out of there as you've made a solid contact. My salespeople have had referrals from people they didn't sell to. They didn't sell to them, but the customer was so impressed, maybe the budget was wrong or something, so they couldn't proceed. They referred other customers because they were so pleased with how it had gone and the non-pressure scenario, so business still came out of the customers who said no. Bottom line is, this way has a far better closing rate than any old-fashioned strong-arm tactics. Let me tell you, those days are over. So just looking at my notes, one more thing. So there's no pressure for you or your buyer. You lead them to a logical conclusion, and that conclusion is making a decision. Thanks for watching. Remember, intentions are just air until actions happen, and that's when the magic starts. See you in the next lesson.